Hello, everybody, and welcome to a Friday in my life. So, usually on Fridays, I have one therapy session or two therapy sessions, but I have one therapy session and supervision, or I have two therapy sessions typically. My Fridays are pretty light because I work around my husband's schedule so that I can stay home with the kids. And so I like being in private practice because I'm able to do that. My day starts off just like every other day with the pumping session because I am breastfeeding, and I exclusively pump because I have elastic nipples, and that's just how it is for me. So this day, I think it was 6 a.m. Maybe it was 7, I don't know. It looks like my kids aren't up yet, so I'm leaning more towards 6, maybe? I don't know. But anyways, it starts off just like any other day. This day I was very burned out though. I don't know if you can tell by my body language, but I just look exhausted. And I was very burned out because the last 2 weeks have been very hard. I don't know. I think I'm just trying to get used to having this client load, and it's not even that many clients. I have about 18 people on my client caseload, and I don't see them all every week, but for whatever reason, like, I think it's having kids and my body adjusting to I don't know, you just don't get very consistent good sleep either postpartum, especially when breastfeeding. So it's just, my daughter's messing with the camera again. It's just, me, look at my face. I'm like, don't touch that. Or I think I might have been talking to the dog even, because I know our dog was over there too, and I was talking to both of them, telling them to stop. But anyways, it was also, it was 66 degrees this day, and it was also very cloudy. And I don't know about you, but when the weather gets like that, like when it gets all cloudy and dark, it's even harder for me to be motivated to do anything. But I do think that our moods are impacted by the weather. But not everybody is gloomy on cloudy days. For example, my husband loves cloudy days. He's in a great mood on cloudy days. So I think it just, and he even says that, like when we were dating, he even told me that. So I think it's just a personal preference. I have this sunlight thing and it kind of like, I guess it like provides sunlight to it. The directions say like to face it toward you, but don't look directly at the light because it's so bright. So like the sunlight gets into your eyes and your brain, and it kind of tricks your brain into thinking it's sunnier than it actually is. And so that gives you a little bit more energy. I definitely noticed a difference when I use it. I had to buy it when I was working my last job because it was that place was very stressful. It was gloomy. I started working there in the fall, and I was just like, I can't, I'm gonna fall asleep at this desk. So I got that light and it worked, and it helped me a lot. And so now I use it basically most mornings or some mornings in the winter and fall season. And so I notice the sun is coming up later, and I know I'm still getting up at around 5 or 6 some days, and so like I'm up before the sunlight even hits now, and so it's nice to have that. So right now I'm just doing some documentation. At this point I hadn't talked to my clinical supervisor yet about it, but we wanted to talk about the details of creating a DBT skills group, and so I was just reading a couple of things about how I would go about doing that. But aside from that, I'm also doing clinical documentation, and yeah. watching me do counseling work is not very interesting. It literally is just most of the time you're at your computer. Like, I wish I could say it was more interesting than that, but it really isn't that interesting. As far as watching someone do it, doing it is very interesting. It's very compelling. You present it with cases that are very complex because the human brain is not simple. So the things you learn in graduate school about diagnosing somebody and presenting problems. My grad school did a very good job of making sure that we understand that like people are dynamic and it's not going to come presented to you in the way that it does in a textbook or in a case study. So I was prepared for that, but also I wasn't prepared for that, in that it's different when you're thinking about it versus when you're doing it. So people are just very dynamic people, and they may not check every list off of a diagnostic assessment for a diagnosis. People come to me thinking they have certain things all the time, and they just don't fit the full criteria, but they might have some symptoms. And there are unspecified, versions of different diagnoses. I don't like to use those too much, but I do use them if people are only hitting some of the symptoms, like for example of PTSD, but they don't have all the symptoms and they don't meet the clinical picture for other diagnoses in that area. So here I am doing some tummy time / floor time with my son. This week we had a doctor appointment, and she said that he had, like, I forget what it's called, but basically where your neck is tight. And it was very ironic because my neck was very tight that week. That's why you keep seeing me stretching my neck in these different clips, because it's still, as I speak now, a week later, not a week later, days later, it's still sore, like it's still tight. So anyways, but she said his neck was tight. She gave me some stretches to do with him at home. It is impacting his ability to lift up his head during tummy time, which is very important because they need to crawl, and that's kind of how they learn to crawl. So I'm taking him to my chiropractor because she suggested a chiropractor or a physical therapist. And I did see a chiropractor when I was pregnant with him because I threw my back out in the second trimester. It was awful. I couldn't even stand up straight. I don't even know how it happened. I leaned over to pick up my daughter. I didn't even grab her yet, and my back just gave out. And ever since then, up until recently, I have seen a chiropractor. I stopped seeing her because she said my back was healthy and I no longer needed it anymore. And of course, months later, I need to go back for my son's neck. So she's awesome. She specializes in families and pregnant women and babies, and she's just awesome. So I'm taking him to her. So my daughter also starts tumbling class, and she starts swimming next week. So we're just going to be very busy between his chiropractic appointments, her tumbling class, swimming class. We have a birthday party to go to next weekend. There's a bridal shower I have to go to, a wedding that I'm in. I'm just, 2 weddings that I'm in actually. Oh, I wanted to show you these cute little pants. I got them on Mercari. So Mercari is like an app of secondhand clothes. Like you can just go on there and sell your old stuff. And I got those with a bundle of a bunch of other stuff. I think it was, I don't remember how much the whole bundle was, but I love going on Mercari for my kids' clothes because they grow out of them so fast. And I don't want to pay for a full, a whole price for clothes for my babies. So last year I got my daughter a box of 2T clothes. It was 100 pieces for $100, so literally $1 a piece of pants, shirts, dresses, sweaters, everything that you can think of. I haven't bought her any new clothes all year because I had that huge box from last year. She's growing out of those clothes now, and so now I'm gonna have to start buying new 3T shirts, or not new, I'm gonna buy secondhand, but you know what I mean, new to us. But my son's box, I think it cost $36, and I got him for free because I had sold some things on Mercari myself, and so I had a credit, and I just used that credit to buy him some stuff. So it's really cool. I like the app a lot. You should check it out. My husband put me onto it because he was selling his old stuff on it, and I like it. So I just don't have very many good quality things to sell on there myself because I like to wear things or use things until they're completely exhausted. But when I'm done having kids, I'll definitely sell everything on Mercari, probably, if I don't know people who need the stuff, you know. So anyways, here I am doing more clinical documentation. It's just so fun. It's like, I feel like it's like, they say it's 50% of our job. I honestly feel like it's more than that, because there's times where you need to do different kinds of documentation, like fill out different like forms for clients if they need like benefits or whatever, and they want to use their mental health diagnosis for like some kind of state benefits or something. And also you have to do those treatment plans every 90 days or so. You have to do, what else have I done? I've written letters for lawyers on behalf of my clients. Usually in the case of like a child custody issue, you know, or visitation issue, like, you know, oh, sorry, my AirPod fell in my ear. Someone tell me, how in the heck do you keep your AirPods in your ear? I feel like I keep changing sizes. How close you are. Okay, so yeah, what am I saying? Oh, yeah, I just wanted to show you that we went to the park that day, and yeah, it was nice. It was so nice. Oh my gosh, we had such a hot summer this year, and it was really nice to be out in 66-degree weather in a long sleeve sweater and some socks. But anyway, yeah, if there's a child, like one time, like anyways, sometimes that happens where you have like, you're requested to write a letter to like a lawyer or a court with your recommendation on if a child should or should not be around a certain parent. I don't usually, I mean, you have a choice, you don't have to do it. I only do it if I think that it's going to help the client with their mental health. I only do it if it's just a case of like this parent and that parent are arguing about blah blah blah. Then I don't usually I'm just like, I'm not gonna, you know, because it's not pertaining to mental health. If it, you know, if it's like a case of abuse or something like that, and I know, you know, things are in place where the child is not in a parent's custody, but the parent wants visitation, the guardian ad litem might contact me with, you know, obviously the ROI, release of information, to see if I'm willing to write a letter on the client's behalf to read in court. And I have done that in the past if necessary, but it's not often that happens. For that reason, some people don't like to work with children just because they don't want to have to deal with court stuff. But I find that working with children is just such a joy, and they need our help more than a lot of people. So there's just so much childhood trauma that happens, and I'm happy to help. Alright, so here I'm creating a planner for myself. Anytime that I feel like overwhelmed or like there's too much going on and I can't keep up with my own life, I take out my handy dandy planner. I get one every year since graduate school, and I like write down all my tasks and things that are just like all in my mind, you know, and I get them all on the paper. So here I am writing down like what are my weekly chores going to be, what are my monthly chores going to be, and then when am I going to do those things. So my goal is to clean one room in the house every day, and yeah, basically just do that. And then I have daily chores. My daily chores are pretty simple. It's just making sure the countertops are clean, doing the dishes, taking out the trash, and cleaning up the dog poop outside. My husband and I think I talked about in the last video how we discussed how to make things a little bit easier for me. So he decided to take over the daily chores, and I will focus on the weekly and monthly chores. And so like the weekly chores are basically cleaning each room in the house, and then the monthly chores are like the larger things, like deep cleaning the oven and the stove, making sure the cabinets are cleaned and organized, the fridge as well, the laundry room, deep cleaning like the machines, all the deep cleaning stuff basically is what I would do every month at the last week of the month. And so my thing about like using my planner, and I tell this with my clients too, like the great thing about having a planner is if things do come up in life, you can just move things around. You can see in your schedule where you can fit stuff, and you can just move things around. It doesn't have to be just because you wrote it down that you have to do it. That is something that I struggle with sometimes. I feel like I stress myself out because I think I have to do it because it's written in my planner, and I don't. I can just move it around, which is what I end up having to do a lot of times. So I am just like using this nap time to my advantage. They usually tell you, like, if you have, a baby at home, try and sleep when they sleep. I don't give you that advice if you have a toddler and a baby at home, because your toddler doesn't sleep as much as your baby, and so you can't get as much done. I much prefer to be energized enough during nap time to get things done, because that's when I get a lot done. It's a good 2 hours of no interruptions. Sometimes my son needs usually a diaper change or a bottle, but other than that, he goes right back to sleep. So it's like a great, speaking of nap time, being uninterrupted, my daughter, it is the end of her nap time right now, not in this video, but as I'm doing this voiceover. So I am just going to stop real quick and I'm gonna go get her. Okay, so it's the next day that I'm doing this voiceover, because after I got her, I had to do a million other things and the day got away from me. So day 2 of recording this voiceover. So what I was saying was that, I try to, this is about the time of day that I get like an energy drink. I drink the Bubbler, what is it called? Bubbler. It's like a sparkling water drink, and basically it has caffeine in it. It has like natural caffeine, or so it says. And I just find that wakes me up enough to be able to finish the rest of my day. So I try not to take naps during her nap time or during their nap time, because this is when I get most of the stuff done. Now, if you're early on postpartum, like in that first month or 2, or maybe even 3, then sure, take your naps. I mean, I slept a lot during that time because my husband was off for the first month, and so I just only had to focus on the baby, and so I slept a lot. So, but beyond that, once you're trying to get a routine established, I don't recommend taking a nap, just because when else are you going to get stuff done in the house? I mean, everybody's different. Maybe you don't care about getting stuff done in the house and you just feel like you need to sleep. That's fine too. For me personally, I can't function in a house that is too chaotic. Like, I just need it to be somewhat clean. So that's when I try and get some cleaning done. Or if I have some documentation to do, I'll do it then. Administrative work for the house, as far as like scheduling doctor appointments or filling out paperwork for different things, or taking care of like financial things, then I'll do that during this time. Or administrative tasks for work, I'll do during this time as well. I'll also start cooking dinner at this time. I just try and get a lot done in this 2-hour space that I have in my day. And so this day I'm taking advantage of it by working on my planner. So I will say that I try to clean one room in the house each day. And as I'm recording this voiceover, it's been a week since I made this, I think. And I'm just gonna tell you, it's not going that great. It's going great in that now I'm more mindful of what I could be doing with my time if I ever find like downtime or something. So it's going great in that respect, but it's not going great in the fact that I expect to get too much done. Like, there's just not enough time in the day to get everything done. Like today, for example, I've barely sat down unless it was to pump. And even when I was pumping, I was putting together cloth diapers. I was feeding my son. What else was I doing while I was pumping? Listening to a devotion or a sermon. I was ordering groceries. So I'm still always doing something usually when I'm pumping. But like, yeah, when I'm done breastfeeding, that'll be like an extra 2.5 hours of my day that I get back. So I cannot wait until my kid is 1 year old. But also, I love, little babies. So I'm gonna miss him being this size. So I'm just gonna, let it all soak in. But anyway, what am I saying? I don't remember. I'm tired. It's like almost 10 o'clock at night. I've been up since 5 something. I don't remember. My son does this thing where he wakes up in the middle of the night kicking, like full on kicking, and not just kicking, but slamming his feet into his pack and play repeatedly. Like, it wakes up my daughter because how our bedroom is set up is like the previous owner of our house made the 4th bedroom a walk-in closet. So her bedroom was actually a walk-in closet. It was a walk-in closet. We turned it back into a bedroom. So it's combined with our room in that there should be a door there, but it was taken away because she made that a walk-in closet. But we talked about putting a door in there. I don't know if we're going to. I feel like, I don't know the logistics of putting a door in a place. Plus, she's only 2 and I get nervous that like if I can't see her, for example, sometimes she falls out of bed and I like to put her back in bed when that happens. So if I can't see her, I don't know what she's doing. I like to be able to wake up and just peek over past the wall and see what she's up to, if she's up, if she's sleeping, whatever. So yeah, and sometimes I wakes her up. So then she gets up in the middle of the night, comes over to my side of the bed. I have to put her back to bed. It's just like a whole thing. And so it's all night long. I don't get sleep very well. I don't get quality sleep, I'll say. And so it's becoming ridiculous. I don't know why he does that. But anyways, I hope he grows out of it. I'm hoping that when he starts on solids, he sleeps more soundly through the night and doesn't have these episodes. But we'll see. I do make my own baby food. Like I do purees, and I haven't done it yet. I've at least cleaned out the ice trays because they had frozen baby food in it from when my daughter was at this stage 2 years ago. So yeah, they needed to be cleaned and sanitized, so I did that. And I am ready to make some baby food at some point when I have time. But anyways, like I was saying, today, I just don't have a lot of time to get all of the chores done that I want to get done. But I tell my clients, like, it doesn't really matter if you get everything that you wrote down done. It's just more about seeing it, visualizing it, and then you can see in your planner what's working and what's not working and move things around accordingly. So I'm still in the stage of figuring out exactly what on my calendar is realistic to do and what isn't, and where can I move some things around. So right now I'm 2 days behind on the weekly chores. I just haven't gotten there because other things have come up, doctor appointments. For me anyway, I had a doctor appointment. I had to get groceries, and I forgot that I always do groceries on Tuesdays, and so I didn't put that in my planner. And so when I was planning, that was an oversight. So everything is growth, everything is progress, and I am recording my life right now just so that people can see, like, you're not alone in your struggle. It's just hard. And so, watch me and let's do this together. Let's struggle together a little bit. And I hope that helps some people. I really do, because it is hard being a parent and working and all this stuff. Being a parent alone is hard, but working and being a parent is hard, and working from home and being a parent, full-time caregiver is also hard. It's all hard here. So we're trying together. I did have an update about my private practice, speaking of work. So I decided to, I don't know if I talked about this on YouTube yet, but I decided to start taking Medicaid clients in my private practice. So in the place that I'm contracted with, we do take Medicaid, but I'm talking about in my private practice right now, I'm only private pay. But I decided to take Medicaid clients as well. And so I hired a credentialing company to do my credentialing for me for that, so that I don't have to worry about it. And I got an update from them the other day saying that everything is going great. I'm well on my way to being credentialed for Medicaid, but of course I can't really know if they're going to accept me or not until it's all done. But so far they're reviewing my application for Medicaid, and it sounds like it's going well. And so I'm hopeful that in the next maybe month or two that I'll be able to accept Medicaid clients. I'll get Medicaid referrals from my private practice, which means that I'll have more autonomy because it's my practice and not somebody else's, and I'll have more of a commission because I only take, for like income that I get from my private practice, I only take 70%, and then I save 30% for taxes, which is what everybody suggests, including my accountant. So he said that's a good rule of thumb to go by, so that's what I do. And but for, you know, contract work, I'm paid like $42.50 a session, which is much less than what I would be making if, you know, these referrals came in through my private practice directly. So that's, you know, another thing that I'm excited about, because I'll be able to take less clients, which is going to help with my stress level as well. Everybody needs help out there, and yeah, I feel a little bit bad about saying I'm going to take less clients but make more money, but at the same time it's like, do you want a therapist that's like tired and burned out because she's got too many clients and she's trying to juggle life, or do you want a therapist who, you know, is more energized and more, I'm not saying that I'm not effective in this state, because if I weren't, I wouldn't be doing this work, but you know, everybody feels like they're doing a better job when they're more energized and they have more control of things in their lives. And honestly, I feel like I'm in a good space. I'm helping a lot of clients, and that's a good thing. But at the same time, I don't know that this is sustainable for me in the long term. Like, I do think that a reduction in my caseload is necessary going forward, but I don't know. I mean, again, life changes as my kids get older. I might not feel this way, and I might feel like I can take on more. Like, I remember when my daughter was when she turned 1, I suddenly felt like I had more energy, probably because I was done breastfeeding at that point too, so I felt like myself again. I felt like I had more energy, and I felt like I could do more, so I actually asked for more work at work. So I'm probably going to feel different in a year, so is what I'm trying to say. So who knows? But I am excited to be recording this journey with you, and thank you for coming onto my channel. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more of my content.